Okay, and the next item of business is a members' business debate on motion 14008 in the name of David Torrance on Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club awarded £90,000 of funding. The debate will be concluded without any questions being put. I'd invite members wishing to participate to press the request to speak buttons, and I call on David Torrance to open the debate. Around 7 minutes. Mr Torrance.
Thank you, Presiding Officer, and I would like to thank my colleagues for supporting my motion and allowing it to be debated in the Chamber today. It is a pleasure to be leading the debate today, recognising the success and outstanding achievements of a remarkable group of individuals and a fantastic community group which plays such an important role within the Fife, the Kingdom of Road Motorcycle Club. Before I will reflect on its history, growth and success of the club, and to recognise the dedication, passion and resilience of its members, I would like to welcome some of those very people to the Chamber this afternoon. David Payton, CEO and founder, Jessica Castares, Callum McEllan, Callum Mickey, Kevin Davis and Owen Montgomery. Firstly, a little about the club. Who are Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club? We are a registered charity whose aim is to make local communities safer by providing a controlled area for children, young people and adults to enjoy off-road motorcycling, but it is a mere tip of the iceberg. Through our social awareness and reduction in programmes in Fife, which seeks to change behaviour, attitudes and values, we help to reduce antisocial and illegal use of off-road motorcycles. We recognise the value of this high adrenaline-fuelled activity and its use and as a means to influence positive change and promote health, child and youth development through motorcycle-related activities. From its humble beginnings 21 years ago to a dynamic and vibrant club it is today, Kingdom Off-Road has become a shining example in the world of off-road motorcycle riding, committed to creating an environment where young people can grow, not just as riders, but as individuals. The relationships and friendships formed within the club are invaluable, fostering a sense of belonging while developing independence, resilience and character. I have followed the club's progress with a keen interest over the years and have watched with great pride as they have expanded and grown into an invaluable community asset they are today. I have also taken part in a session with the club. My staff and I recently headed along to meet a team and try our hand at some off-road riding, many of whom have never been on a motorbike before. There was varying degrees of success, and I can assure you, as you can imagine, but a single common factor was a smile on all our faces and the buzz that lasted for days. When preparing for today's debate, I asked the club if there was any members might want to give us an insight into what the club means and to them, and how it has impacted upon their lives. And I am extremely grateful to everyone who took the time to share their story with me. I would like to share a couple of them with you now. Lucy's story. I have volunteered at Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club for 2 years now. I go to a track and workshop every week where I fix and maintain bikes for the club. I want to be a mechanic, so this is definitely helping. I also assist on track days, maintaining the track and ensure it's its best condition for riders. Through my last year at school, I was authorised day release, where I helped out with Kingdom Off-Road Structure Group, working and mental health programmes. Volunteering for the club has given me opportunities to attend events, including the Scottish 6-Day Trial in Fort William, where I was part of a Scorpa UK support team in keeping the bikes maintained and up to spec for the riders to compete. Attended the Drumlin Castle Scottish Road Festival, where I had a stand as an assistant coach and we taught people to ride. I always have fun, I am volunteering and I love to learn new skills. I feel very lucky to receive an amazing sponsorship deal from Kingdom Off-Road and Duncan Woods East Neuk Trials Motorcycles. They have provided me with a trials bike to compete in the Scottish Championships. I want to say a huge thank you to them both, and I love off-road motorcycle sport. I feel very lucky to be given this opportunity. But a testament comes from Louise's mum. Kingdom have played a crucial role in my son's life opportunities and have positively impacted on his well-being and social skills. My son volunteers and provided him with mechanical experience, which has helped him secure a mechanical apprenticeship, which he will start in August. He also developed a passion for riding and competing on trial bikes. This has been encouraged and supported by Kingdom, allowing him to develop his skills and participate in events, because Kingdom, my son, has constantly achieved from education awards, volunteering awards and skills development, all have really underpinned and improved his sense of self-well-being. We will be forever grateful to Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club and will continue to support the charity to ensure that other young people are afforded the same opportunities as my son. I had Calvin, whose aunt wanted to share the following words. Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club has helped Calvin a lot over the past year that he's been around him. He was on a programme after being referred to Kingdom Off-Road charity through his school. This is where he got his chance to ride off-road motorcycles in a safer, legal place where he was no longer getting into trouble. He stopped antisocial riding in the local community. After the programme, he was asked to be a volunteer for them. The volunteering has boosted his confidence. We have noticed an improvement in his behaviour as well. It's helped him improve on the bike too. He has been given the opportunity to do motorcycle racing events and follow his dreams. Calvin loves going to the club and he helps out every weekend and often during weeks too. And lastly, I'm going to give you Jay's story. He was struggling at school and was riding illegally. He attended a club through a Gears programme which is run in partnership with the Community Learning and Development Team Leavenmouth. His progress has seen his school attendance and behaviour in the community improve. He no longer rides illegally on the streets or in local parks. He does enjoy demonstrating his skills at the Scottish Twin Socks Championship. He is usually in the top 3 of the start line. Competing is fierce and the quality of riders this year is great. Jace finished his last race of the season in a commendable 6th position. He has now passed his motor CBT test and can ride a motorcycle legally on the road. This will help him with his transportation to employment or further education. And more recently, Jace had been invited to visit Gray's Fabrication in Cooper. Our charity has nominated him as being a good candidate to competent in use of tools and mechanical knowledge, some of which he has learned from his time at Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club. Over the last year, Jace has grown in confidence and we hope his potential position as a mechanical maintenance apprenticeship will offer him to kick-start his life beyond school. It is important that the voices of these young people are heard and their experiences are recognised and used as we look to shape the future delivery of services and ensure a culture of inclusion. Because while off-road riding is an exhilarating sport, antisocial behaviour, illegal riding and misuse of road bikes is a problem across many constituencies. We have all witnessed the damage to our roads or green spaces and other vehicles, but there is an element of human tragedy as well that often too occurs with antisocial behaviour. The work of a club with the area's youngsters has produced dramatic results. Local police have witnessed an 80% reduction in calls and illegal use of motorcycles, as well as decline in traffic incidents. This is a notable reduction and a testament to the passion and dedication of our staff and volunteers at the club, as many accolades and awards have been bestowed upon them over the years, from coaching sessions to volunteering mechanical engineers. Volunteering hours at the club have exceeded 5,000 hours, with over 25 people regularly giving their time. But never one to rest on their laurels, David and his team are always looking to the future for electric trial parks, school initiatives and better ways of sharing effective intervention strategies and research or work to discourage young people from being involved in illegal and dangerous activities. We truly never take a breath. And indeed, I know they are following this debate about off-road vehicles in the Chamber in September, led by my colleague Bob Doris. And we're very pleased to hear his call for a working group to be established by the Scottish Government to look at how partnership working can tackle the misuse of vehicles. And as one of the leaders in research and knowledge of off-road misuse behaviour, I believe it could provide to be an integral part of this group. In conclusion, Presiding Officer, antisocial behaviour involving use in vehicles is on the rise. There is much work to be done to tackle this problem and make our streets and green spaces safer for everyone. But the work of Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club has shown that with the right people, the right tools and a lot of hard work, a very different can be made. And I would like to congratulate the club on everyone they have achieved so far. I look forward to seeing their success in the future.
Thank you. We now move to the open debate. I call first Liam Kerr to be followed by Ben McPherson around 4 minutes. Mr Kerr.
Yeah, thank you, Presiding Officer. I don't often speak in members' debates, and even more rarely do I pop up in debates outside the North East. But on this occasion, I saw the motion that David Torrance put forward before the Chamber on the Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club, and I pretty much demanded to speak in this debate, because what they're doing is brilliant. Two aspects of what they do particularly caught my attention. Firstly, their focus on reducing illegal and antisocial motorcycling within communities. Now, many of us, as David Torrance pointed out, will be very familiar or represent places where this happens, and we all recognise that whilst the police do their absolute best, as they always do, funding and resource issues make their job challenging. But we'll also recognise that a formal response to criminal or antisocial behaviour is one way to deal with things, but such an approach can have consequences for the individuals which extend long into the future and impact life choices and chances going forward, such that sometimes a different approach will result in better outcomes in the short and longer term and for the individual and the community. And that is one of the aspects that I think Kingdom is what is about. Taking that energy, that passion for riding and excitement, and channeling it into productive and useful ways, whilst also providing an insight into the impact of antisocial behaviours and victims' perspectives. It's saying to young people, make different choices to not only enjoy what you're doing, but do it safely and with positive outcomes for all. And it's proactive. I was on their Facebook page earlier this week, and they'd put out a call to find some bikers who've been putting themselves and others at risk, to seek to find out who they are, to contact them and hopefully work with them to make those different life choices. And the data shows it works, just as David Torrance said. The motion says local police report an 80% reduction in calls about the illegal motorcycle use, as well as a decline in traffic incidents. And I think perhaps Inspector Spencer from Leavenmouth Police puts it best when he said that the club have been an integral part in the work we do to tackle antisocial behaviour. They provide a safe and structured environment to teach the responsible use of bikes, along with the opportunity to learn maintenance skills. Now, all of that's impressive in itself, but there's the other reason that I was keen to speak. Now, members may know that I am a keen biker, and I'm actually very jealous, David, that you got a shot on the off-road. In my view, biking is about roadcraft. It's also transferable skills, perhaps from working on the bike or socially. But it's also, I find, one of the best ways I've found for reflection and de-stressing time. And I agree also with David Payton, the club's founder, when he said, after the club won a Scottish Sports Award, it's also about fitness and dedication that you require to ride. So riding is good. Actually, safe riding is good. But it's neither the easiest thing to get into, nor is it the cheapest. And there's a real risk, I think, that it's denied to people who wouldn't have the funds or perhaps the opportunities. Or, of course, that those keen to get into riding would take a less appropriate route, shall we say. So the fact that the Kingdom Club also has one of its key aims, making motorbiking more accessible, is absolutely to be commended, as it gives, as the club put it, a chance for youngsters to take part in high adrenaline sports in a safe and controlled way, which of course is demonstrated by the fact that they've taken on a coach to encourage school pupils to get involved through free introduction sessions. So, Presiding Officer, I have no hesitation in echoing David Torrance's commendation of Foundation Scotland's foresight in giving this club £90,000 from the Tackling Inequalities Fund. And I wish all involved with Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club, especially the dedicated volunteers who are so crucial to it, every success in continuing to achieve their aims, both now and for a long time to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Kerr. I now call Ben McPherson to be followed by Claire Baker, around 4 minutes. Mr McPherson.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And I first of all want to pay tribute to David Torrance for bringing this motion to the Chamber for debate, not only to pay tribute to the Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club, and welcome to those who are here representing it, but also to give those of us who are interested in these issues across the country the chance to both recognise and consider the club in Fife, but also to think how it could be an example of how we can make a bigger difference in other areas across the country. Because the club is clearly a great example, because of the volunteer effort, because of the investment, because of the organisation that's gone into making it happen, of the difference that constructive youth work, strategic investment can make on these issues. When I was first elected as MSP for Edinburgh Northern and Leith in 2016, as I've said before in this chamber, we faced significant issues with motorbike crime in the north of the capital city, with stolen motorbikes being brought to the north of the city, driven dangerously and then burned out. And Operation Sorteria from Police Scotland was activated to deal with this, and also the Stronger North collaboration. And what that did, along with the Violence Reduction Unit, along with the Council, along with the Third Sector, along with funding from the Robertsons Trust, along with a Youth Work Collaborative, we started to make a difference in terms of diversion and intervention. And one of the projects that was looked at that time was what was happening in Fife. And I think that shows even back then there was an understanding that what Fife was doing was interesting, because it was giving an alternative place for these young people to learn about motorbiking, but also to do it in a safe way, and to get that thrill to be able to participate without needing to engage in, well, you never need to engage in criminality, but without engaging in criminality. So, at the moment, in my constituency, the north of the city is not problematic in the way it was. It's not perfect, but it's not problematic in the way it was. But in Leith, as I've said in the Chamber on several occasions in recent months, we have experienced issues with off-road vehicles, both two-wheeled and four-wheeled, being driven dangerously as part of a wider issue that we're facing with a very, very, very small minority of young people engaging in dangerous, antisocial and criminal behaviour. So what can we learn from this example that David Torrance has brought to the Chamber, I think, is important. But also it feeds in, as Mr Torrance mentioned, to the debate that Bob Doris had, and to other debates that there's been recently, around how do we better support the police, but also intervene in other ways to challenge this growing trend in communities in Scotland. This is a social media-driven trend in some ways. As I've said before, there is an element of organised crime in some of these incidents, but it is, along with some general youth crime concerning trends with a very small minority, something that has definitely got worse here in the capital city and elsewhere in 2024. So in 2025, how do we undertake new initiatives collectively to improve this situation, and certainly to make sure it doesn't get worse? And the proposal that was discussed in previous debates that was mentioned today as well, around a working group, I think is a good one. And I would be interested to hear, not just in the response today, but as we go into the early quarter of 2025, what the government is going to undertake to make sure that we have initiatives in all areas across the country that can make a difference in terms of intervening, giving more positive destinations for young people, giving the police the resources and the powers that they need, and putting public safety above everything else. £90,000 is a lot of money, but comparatively with, say, for example, spend in the criminal justice system, if certain people were to end up in the criminal justice system, it is not a large amount of money. And it could be a really important aspect of, in the Christie principles, engaging in preventative spend. So what more preventative spend can we do, like the example that's been brought to the Chamber today, to make sure that in 2025 we get on top of this issue?
Thank you very much. And I now call Claire Baker again, around 4 minutes. Ms Baker.
Thank you, President Officer. I want to first congratulate David Torrance on securing today's debate on Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club and their success in securing a significant award from Foundation Scotland's Tackling Inequalities Fund. It is not the first time I've highlighted the work of Kingdom Off-Road in the Chamber, and I want to pay tribute to the work of David Payton and his team for establishing this charity, investing their time and resources into the local community, and recognise their efforts at expanding and growing what they have to offer. I first met David Payton, who co-founded the charity, when I was supporting my constituent Sheila Cooper, who had had a terrible experience with someone riding an off-road bike illegally, which resulted in the death of her dog from injuries. I became involved in campaigning to tackle antisocial behaviour on off-road and quad bikes, and held a number of roundtables and meetings across my region. I led a members' debate in 2015, which Kingdom Off-Road attended, and they had the support of Sheila for the work they were doing. Since then, I have supported and promoted the work that Kingdom Off-Road do, and argued for this approach to be more widespread. As David Payton himself has said, they were established in response to a community crisis. Young people were tearing about Leavenmouth illegally on off-road bikes, risking injury to themselves and others. While part of the response to this is the responsibility of the police, they cannot do this alone, and their ability to fine or arrest people is limited by the nature of the offence. Kingdom Off-Road was set up to offer a different solution. Through a referral system with support from community workers, the police, local schools, young people are identified and offered a programme which covers topics such as the victims' perspectives, the law, responsible riding, accidents and incidents, as well as riding on a motocross track. The programme has made a huge difference to many young people in the area, offering them an alternative to antisocial and risky behaviour. They learn bike maintenance and how to ride responsibly, and it has been shown to improve school attendance, health and focus. As the motion recognises, this has supported a significant decrease in related antisocial behaviour in recent years. There was a concentrated focus on tackling the issue at Leavenmouth, with local councillors, the police, community workers and activists coordinating activity and using a multi-pronged approach. Some of this involved physical changes to the landscape to make riding more difficult and a focused effort to gather intelligence and approach offenders. Last week I met with police officers in Kirkcaldy to raise constituents' concerns over antisocial behaviour on off-road bikes and quad bikes in an area in Kirkcaldy. I am pleased that they are going to work with local stakeholders to target the area, but there remains limitations on what the police can do, and they do rely on local intelligence to identify riders. We need to make sure that police across Scotland are able to share best practice, and that a method that is successful in one area, for example, Jackie Dunbar raised the use of spray paint in Aberdeen, which identifies riders and bikes in the recent debate that we had. We have to make sure that good practice is available to others across the country. The police do successfully seize bikes and they are not always collected. I worked with Kingdom Off-Road Bikes to establish a route for them to access these bikes and use them for their programmes, and that is running successfully. From their base in Leavenmouth, Kingdom Off-Road have in the past few years developed an outdoors track at Cardenden. This is a valuable resource which provides affordable access to a legal off-road motorbike track. This is a controlled area for adults, children and young people to enjoy off-road track and is a much-needed facility in the area. If riders have resources to buy bikes, maintain and fuel a bike, and they have a vehicle to move the bike around, then they should ride responsibly and access the site. With family annual membership from £30 and track fees from £15 and £25, they are reasonable for this kind of activity. As we approach Christmas, the cost of off-road bikes has reduced significantly due to cheaper imports, and we should make it clear to people that they cannot be ridden in local parks or on footpaths, and it is illegal to do so. I have previously expressed concern about a weak response from government, but I do hope that the recent focus will focus the government's mind on what positive actions can be taken. The longer-term goal of Kingdom Off-Road Club is to open an indoor all-weather track. A similar facility used to exist and was very popular, and this would provide a year-round facility. I will support this in any way I can, and I wish them well in these efforts and all their future endeavours.
Thank you, Ms Baker. I now call on Siobhan Brown to respond to the debate. Minister, around 7 minutes, please.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Firstly, I'd like to thank David Torrance for proposing this members' debate today, and also to welcome the members in the gallery of the Kingdom Club. We've had a number of important debates on antisocial behaviour in this chamber recently, and I am pleased that we're able to have one where we can celebrate a community leading on its own project with positive outcomes such as these. And in David Torrance's opening speech, he gave individual experiences that is a testament to all the positive work that the club has done. The wider social impact of the Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club is considerable, and I welcome the Foundation Scotland's continued support. An additional £90,000 over 3 years will make a big difference to the club's work in Fife. The club's aims are about tackling inequality, but also about providing safe spaces for young people while developing safety awareness and skills. And I understand that both the Fife Police and the local businesses are supported the club with small donations, and this is really positive and a great example of how to engage with communities. The Scottish Government is committed to delivering diversionary work with children and young people, and this debate has given me an opportunity to highlight the ongoing diversionary and intervention work that the Scottish Government supports through the Cashback for Communities, which the proceeds of crime reinvests back into our youth projects. Since 2008, the flagship Cashback for Communities programme has invested £130 million in community-based activities the length and breadth of Scotland, supporting close to 1.3 million young people in that time. We are continuing to provide that support, and we are currently in phase 6 of the Cashback for Communities, which runs from the 1st of April 2023 to the 31st of March 2026, where £20 million will be invested. It will deliver a range of services and activities for young people between the ages of 10 to 25 across Scotland. And at the core of this, the programme provides safe spaces, trusted adults, and the opportunity for young people to build positive relationships with their peers. In Fife alone, Cashback has invested over £4,123,000 in projects between 2008 and 2023, reaching over 142,000 young people in Fife. And the evidence proves that Cashback is working. Evaluation shows that 4,318 young people reported that their antisocial and criminal behaviour reduced. 6,292 young people felt less likely to engage in antisocial or criminal behaviour, and 4,954 young people gained an accreditation in furthering their development. These statistics are just from the last year's impact report for communities from Cashback that was published yesterday. These numbers illustrate how our focus on early intervention and diversionary activity is making a difference in communities. Presiding Officer, while helping provide more opportunities for young people in their communities, we also want to keep them safe from harm. And that's why we have invested more than £4 million over the last 2 years to implement the action set out in the Scottish Violence Prevention Framework. This supports the work of a range of partners, including the Scottish Violence Reduction Unit, YouthLink Scotland and Medics Against Violence, to prevent young people engaging in violence. And I'd like to highlight the work of the Improving Leave and Mouth Together partnership. Through the Scottish Violence Reduction Unit, £30,000 has been awarded to the local Trade Hub partnership so that it is science, technology, engineering and mathematics bus can now visit all 18 primary schools which feed into Leave and Mouth Academy. Plans are in place for roadshow events led by various partners, including the Scottish Fire Rescue and ScotRail, covering issues such as fire raising and also track safety. In addition, the Scottish Violence Reduction Unit is supporting the role of the Think Equal programme across nurseries in the area to stop the violence message. So together, these are just some great examples of early and effective interventions in Fife, complementing the work of the Kingdom Club in supporting children and young people. I made it clear earlier that I wanted to focus on commending the positives of this debate. However, that doesn't mean avoiding concerns about antisocial behaviour, which remains such a core focus of the work of the Kingdom Club. As I've said before, we take seriously the impact of antisocial behaviour, including antisocial driving in our communities, and I think we've debated this 4 times in recent months. And we are committed to working with local partners to tackle these issues effectively. Recently, Bob Doris and Alex Cole-Hamilton have highlighted concerns relating to reckless and dangerous misuse of a range of vehicles and nuisance such as noise, and we've had 2 comprehensive other debates regarding specifically that issue. And understandably, the level of interest has been high. Mr Cole-Hamilton discussed his concerns from South Queensbury with the First Minister, and along with the Minister for Agriculture and Connectivity, I hope to meet Mr Cole-Hamilton and Bob Doris to discuss practical considerations, what could be taken forward in the new year with Police Scotland and also with taking intervention. Ben
McPherson.
It's interesting to get that update from the Minister. I wonder if the Minister would extend the courtesy to other members who've expressed a significant interest in these issues and of which are of significant concern to their constituents. For example, I would very much want to attend such a meeting.
Minister.
definitely happy to consider it. I have to speak to Mr Fairley regarding that. But I think what we're having an initial meeting in, it was meant to be in December, it's now in January because of trying to coordinate the diaries between all the members, Police Scotland and also COSLA. So we are aware of the developments in England which may have a wider impact for any reserve matters. So we are ensuring that we are kept involved. Just to highlight, I know Ben McPherson has a constituency interest with antisocial behaviour with off-road vehicles, and he's contributed to many of these debates and also highlighted the importance of diversion and intervention. And Claire Baker also highlighted the dangers of off-road vehicles with her constituent Sheila Cooper, who tragically lost her dog, but I know that also Bob Doris's constituent has also lost his life. So there can be some very tragic circumstances from this behaviour. Presiding Officer, I want to conclude on the high note in which David Torrance proposed this debate. The Kingdom Off-Road Motorcycle Club has successfully helped reduce off-road related antisocial behaviour in Leavenmouth by a really impressive 90%, as confirmed by local police. It is really welcome that overall antisocial behaviour in the area has also reduced by almost 80% in this period. The Kingdom Club has achieved this by a remarkably simple approach, and in this case by providing a safe space, using private land and all the associated support required. So it is clear that we need to learn from this approach and all that it has achieved. And I understand that the additional funding the club has secured will help them create safe spaces for another 70 young people from Cowanbeath, Glenrothes and Kirkcaldy. On that note, Presiding Officer, I would join all members in commending the club's efforts and that of similar community groups in helping address inequalities and providing real opportunities and hope within our communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. That concludes the debate, and I suspend this meeting of Parliament until 2:30.